Hi, it's Barb, Meeple PhD, bringing you another Cosmic Game Connection. This time I have something just a little bit different. Instead of a new finding in astronomy, I have a way that scientists were having some fun with their data. This past fall, scientists involved in the Fermi Gamma-ray Space Telescope released a set of unofficial gamma-ray constellations that were created with a catalog of sources from their LAT, or Large Area Telescope, instrument. It turns out that the last time they made a catalog for the LAT, it had about 3,000 bright gamma-ray sources. And it just so happens that that's about the same number of bright stars in the sky that humans can see. Now, some of these gamma-ray sources are stars, but they're not necessarily the stars that we can see with our eyes. Instead, they're things like pulsars, nova outbursts, and even gamma-ray bursts, which are exploding stars or merging neutron stars. But a number of the sources are also just not stars at all, and in fact, a lot of them are the signal of hot gas from jets and material in the vicinity of supermassive black holes in the centers of certain galaxies. So it's safe to say that these gamma-ray constellations look nothing like the ones that we are familiar with. And so to help you with this, the team actually created an online interactive where you can explore the visible sky and the constellations that we're familiar with, and the gamma-ray sky and the constellations that they've just created, but you can also mix and match. But one thing is clear. The team really wanted to tell the story of gamma-ray astronomy and Fermi through these new constellations. These new constellations include landmarks from countries involved in Fermi, and they also include scientists and scientific ideas that have been important to gamma-ray astronomy. They even have some pop culture references for things that involve gamma rays. These unofficial gamma-ray constellations continue the long tradition of storytelling that is at the very heart of constellations. Every civilization has looked up to the sky and told stories about the lights that they see there. The first recorded constellations were from 1000 BC and the Babylonians. The constellations that we recognize in the night sky today, a lot of those come from stories of heroes and gods from Greek mythology. When I thought about the storytelling tradition that these Fermi scientists are continuing with their new constellations, the game that came to mind was Gloom, and all of its offshoots, Cthulhu Gloom, Fairy Tale Gloom, and Gloom in Space. In all of the Gloom games, players are managing a family of characters, trying to make them as miserable as possible, and then killing them all, while at the same time giving happy experiences to the families of their opponents. On their turn, players take two actions, which can include playing a modifier card, playing an untimely death, but only as a first action in the turn, playing an event card, discarding their entire hand, or passing. The modifier cards represent events in a character's life, both happy and sad, that can increase their self-worth, like falling in love, or decrease their self-worth, like having a run-in with aliens. The game uses these unique, transparent cards that allows aspects of modifier cards to be shown through even as new modifiers are played on top. Characters with negative self-worth, those who are truly unhappy, can be taken out of their misery with an untimely death card. The game ends as soon as one player's family has all been killed off. At that time, you total up all of the self-worth on your deceased characters, and the player with the lowest score wins the game. But half of the fun in Gloom is the storytelling aspect, figuring out a way to tie together seemingly random events that happen to your characters and telling the stories of their triumphs, tribulations, and trials. And it's the storytelling aspect of Gloom that made me think of these gamma-ray constellations and the story that they're constructing about gamma-ray astronomy and the Fermi telescope itself. The next time you find yourself spinning a yarn as you add events to your characters in Gloom, just stop for a second and pretend that instead you are creating a backstory for a grouping of stars, or maybe even a group of gamma-ray sources. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions about the game, the science, or anything, leave them in the comments and I'll see about answering them. I'll be back again with another Cosmic Game Connection. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you know when it lands. But in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as @MeeplePhD, and you can follow my blog at meeplephd.com. When I thought about the storytelling tradition that the Fermi Gamma-ray Constellations